Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do something beauty related. It's been a long time since my last beauty video, so I wanted to ease back into it and do something kind of simple-ish. This is my current go-to look, so it's nothing too sparkly or magical or anything, but hopefully you'll enjoy watching it anyway. So starting with primer, I've been using this one from Sara for a little while now. I've already used half of it. It's very silky feeling and it does provide a smooth base for you to apply your BB cream or your foundation or whatever on top of. But it's not as hardcore as something like the Benefit Professional. I can still definitely see texture whenever I use this product. So I've been using it more to make the product last longer and apply easier, but texture wise it doesn't really do too much, so it's not one that I'll be repurchasing. I'm definitely going to use it up though. It is a nice product, it just doesn't do everything I need it to. Here I'm just applying the Soap & Glory Sexy Mother Pucker lip gloss to hydrate my lips. It smells really nasty, but it tingles and I like how it feels, so I just continue to use it. So I have hereditary darkness and texture around my eyes, so I do like to colour correct them. And my favourite product to do that with is the Tarte CC Undereye Corrector. It's a nice peachy colour, so it cancels out the blues and the purples. I finally hit pan on this product, but because I haven't really tried out any new products recently, I have ordered a different one to try, so we'll see how that one compares. I personally don't think anything can live up to this. This is my favourite one, but I guess we'll see. Sometimes I'll also correct any redness with a green concealer, but today I just use it to tone down that angry red spot on my chin. This is another Soap & Glory product, and I like this one. It's not too strong, so you don't get that green tint to your foundation like you can with some of the heavier products, so it's ideal for lighter coverage foundations or BB creams. Next, I'm just going to set all of that colour correcting with a tiny bit of powder, just so that there's a little bit of a barrier there and the next product doesn't just remove it straight away. Then I'm applying my BB cream, and I'm still using the Klairs Illuminating Supple Blemish cream, I think is what it's called. It's got a long, silly name. I'm on my second tube of this stuff, almost my third, and honestly I think I'm just going to keep repurchasing this for the rest of time, unless they change the formula or something. It's a BB cream, but it does have a really nice amount of coverage. I find that kind of depositing the product with my fingers first and then using the heat from my fingers to kind of melt that product into my skin works best. But then you also get those random finger lines in there too, so I just dab over everything with a beauty blender, just to make sure everything's nice and smooth. So usually I do like to leave it like this in day-to-day life. I like some of my natural redness in my skin to show through, and I don't really mind spots either. I just use BB cream to kind of even out my skin tone and add a bit of colour to it. But since I'm filming and taking photos, I did go ahead and add another layer as well. That's another great thing about this BB cream as well. You can build it if you need to, and it's still going to feel nice and light even though you have a few layers on there. It's a gorgeous little product. So I don't apply this underneath my eyes, so to cover up that peach concealer, I'm going to apply the Klairs Creamy and Natural Fit Concealer. It's got a nice amount of coverage, but it's not too thick of a formula, so it's nice for around the eyes because it doesn't crease as much as some of the heavier products that I have. Next, I'm setting all of that in place with the translucent powder, and I use the little puff that comes with it to just kind of press that product into the skin in the areas that need it. So underneath my eyes, I really need to set that to avoid them creasing, my forehead, my smile lines, and around my nose where it gets kind of greasy. Then I'll just dust the excess over the rest of my face. So now I have that flat colour all over, I'm going to bring some warmth and some shape back into the face with the bronzer. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer in medium/deep, which I probably would have gone for the lighter one personally, but I got this in a press package, so I didn't pick the shade or anything. I have no passionate feelings about bronzers. I feel like all the ones I've tried, they've all kind of been the same. I've never really had any I hate, I've never really had any I love. I used to use one that cost £1 from Superdrug, so not passionate about bronzers, but I am passionate about this brush. I've been using this a lot lately. It's so big and it gets the job done so quick. That's what she said. But it does. It's true. I like it. It's also very good for down the neck as well if your neck is usually lighter than your face, which mine is. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. It's a great shape for applying it on the cheekbones as well. It kind of hits the tops of the cheekbones slightly and also gets underneath, so you can kind of contour with it as well. I know you're not supposed to contour with bronzer, but just adding it in that area is gonna have that effect anyway, so this brush is great for that. For blush, I've been really into cream products recently, and I don't think I've even touched a powder blush since maybe the start of the year, which is so long ago. So for placement, I like to go in this kind of area underneath my eyes. If you put a finger at the side of your eye and then across from your nose, I just think it's really cute looking, and I like that it's separate from the bronzer. And for application, with cream products, they tend to be on the sheer side, which is nice because then you can just kind of build it up until you're happy with it. And I know cream blush can be kind of intimidating the first few times you do it, so it's nice to have that option to kind of go sheer or to build it up to something heavier. So my camera stopped filming, but for the highlight on my cheekbones and my forehead, I used this ridiculously gorgeous shadow from one of the Ciate palettes. It could be the Pretty palette, but I can't remember. I'll write everything down below as usual. Moving on to contour, the only thing I contour nowadays is my nose. For everyday makeup anyway. I use this taupey colour from the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, and I don't necessarily try to make it look super tiny or anything, or change the shape too much. I just try to make the tip and the bridge look a little bit more defined. Then I complement that contour with a highlight. I do love a good nose highlight, especially with this product. It's the same one I used before from the Ciate palette. It just makes the base look really shiny and lived in. So moving on to brows, which is always really difficult to get on camera because I find myself just migrating towards the mirror until I'm like 2 centimeters away. All I do is use the Soap & Glory pencil. I follow the natural shape for the most part, but just kind of thicken them, make them a little bit bushy in the middle, and then I clean up the edges with a concealer. And I'll also use the Soap & Glory brow gel too. Finally moving on to the eyes, I'm starting with a primer and a flat base colour. Then I'm using Skinny Dip from the Chloe Morello palette from Ciate on a big fluffy brush, and I'm just applying that through the socket. I always use a beigey creamy colour, I guess the colour I use as my base colour as well, just to go over the edges too, just to make sure everything blends out seamlessly. Then I'm going to go ahead and apply Vaycay all over the lid, which is a nice shimmery gold. Then I'm taking On Fire, which is a gorgeous rusty shade, and I'm applying this in the outer corner and pulling it through into the socket too. Next I introduce Queen Bee in there in a smaller, more controlled area, and then you want to blend that out until your camera cuts off and stops filming apparently. Next I'm going to go ahead and highlight underneath my brow using the same colour I highlighted the rest of my face with. Then moving to underneath the eye, I'm taking Queen Bee again and I'm going all the way across underneath and then blending it out as well. I like to smoke my under eyes out pretty far because my lashes are quite long and I like to be able to see it. Next I'm taking that gold again and I'm applying this in the inner corner area, and then going back to my highlight shade and applying that in the dark areas at the side of my nose, just to brighten that area up and open that area up a bit more. I've just realised this look is super Christmassy. If you whack some like gold glitter on there or a gem or something and some red lipstick, then this would be a really cute Christmas look. Maybe I should have saved this and called it a festive look and got some of those sweet hashtag trending views. So for my liner, I'm using this brown liquid liner from Sigma. These liners are a bit trash poop, if I'm honest. If you apply too much, then they kind of crust up and make your lid look really wrinkly, especially on the wing. If you're like me and you have to keep the skin kind of taut to apply the wing, I like to raise my eyebrows so the skin is like tighter and flatter, I guess. But then when it dries in that position and then you relax the eye back, it just kind of creases up and looks like alligator skin or something. I don't know. I'm still going to use the ones I have, but I probably wouldn't recommend them if you're someone who takes time to apply your wings and maybe has to go over the same area a couple of times, because if you apply too much product, it's just awful. If you can like wham bam and then they're done, then this product is fine. So I kind of just have split feelings about it, because they're really solid colours. They're a nice formula to apply, they have some really pretty colours available. The product's just a little temperamental, I think. For my lashes, I'm using the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara. I've actually just started using this recently. I was using the Ciate Wonderland mascara up until about a week ago when it ran out. I used 2 tubes of it though, I really liked that one, but I'm also really liking this one so far. Finally, moving on to the lips, and the only thing I've been wearing for the past month, 2 months or so, ever since this arrived in my office, I've had it on my face. This is Sellout from Too Faced, and it's one of their Melted Matte liquid lipsticks. And I apply that right on top of the lip gloss. Because that lip gloss is quite thick, it does stop this from drying quite as matte as it should, or usually does. But I like it because liquid lipsticks can make your lips look really buttholey, so this is a nice way to avoid that. But then that's it. I've missed doing beauty. I think once I'm back on track with everything and I'm caught up from being away for so long, I'm gonna try alternate between doing beauty and my characters and special effects stuff. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you guys for watching.